much, you guys, for joining us. The first Become Odara in English. I'm so excited for this. This topic today is about toxic relationships. I'm a journalist and I live here in Long Beach. So I started Become Odara in 2018 when I had just, I broke up with my ex-boyfriend in 2017, and Become Odara was one of the tools that helped me to connect and rebuild the confidence. So it's like a beautiful thing to be doing this here, because it's like the entire journey. So Become Odara is pretty much a platform that connects real women with other women sharing their stories. So I have so many wonderful girlfriends that have a story of resiliency, or just, like they are so incredible and they don't even think they're that incredible. And then when I talked to them, I was like, yes, you inspired me. You're so amazing. Please share your story with me. And that's exactly why I invited you to be here today, because you have an
Yeah.
incredible story about domestic violence,
Yeah.
and she has a strong connection also with empowering women, and that's why we decided to talk today.
My name is Myrlande, but to be more easy, you can call me Mimi. I'm from Haiti. If you can feel my accent, yes, I'm from Haiti. I live here in California. I am a personal development coach. I help women to build self-confidence after they get out of a toxic relationship. I am a public speaker, storyteller. I am a young entrepreneur. I have my online shoe store, is Saz Boutique. And what else I can say? I like to talk, I like to speak, and I am a Toastmaster. I have
Oh
to say
yes,
that. Yeah, I am a
yes. So
Toastmaster.
yeah, like I met Mimi from Toastmasters, so that's how this story came to be together here. So Mimi, I want you to share a little bit, like, what is your when was your first connection with someone who was abusive, or how do you identify like domestic violence in your life? How does that come to be?
Uh, it's something like I grew up with, I live with it because I see it in my family. I see it in, especially my mom. So since I growing up, so I see it at home. So my mom was a victim. My auntie was a victim, cousin, friend. So I was always been around this domestic violence, but I never thought I would be a victim one day. Sometimes you are in the community, you say, oh, that's not gonna be me. I will never
You
let
think
this
you know
happen.
better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Until this happened to you, you say, I can't believe that I'm in the same situation. Like it kind of like a deja vu. I see that before where this happened, but yeah, it just like is something I grew up with and my family and friends
Wow.
around.
Yeah, this is when Mimi and I were talking about this life, we both realized something that was really powerful. It resonated with me that we both grew up without our our dads around,
Hmm.
without
Yeah.
our fathers. And if in one hand we think that we became these amazing women because we learned and we grew stronger, then besides the absence of this father figure in our
Yeah.
life, on the other hand, we always missed that figure as well, right? So
Yeah, because it's a hole. It's a really deep hole. The father figure is really important in woman's life. But I know they say, okay, I need my mom, I have my mom. But this hole, when women grow up without the father, they keep to searching someone to look like a father figure because they're looking for this love, this daddy girl's love. If you never have it, you don't know. I don't know what is that. I don't know the feeling of daddy's girl, but I know it's really important for men to be in the daughter's life. It's really, really important.
yeah, it's actually one of my really good friends growing up. He saw you know, like me growing up away from my dad. And today he has a daughter. And another day he came to me and he was like, and he's not married with the mother of his daughter. And he told me like, Anna, I think a lot about what you told me, how important was, I mean, how devastating it was to not have your dad around you. So I want to make sure that I'm there for my daughter. So I think this conversation is also really helpful for other people, like even men, to join and be also like, you know, like aware that the importance of having, you know, a presence in somebody's, you know, life, like especially with, like if it's a daughter or a son, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So domestic violence, one of the things that really was really powerful for me to hear from you is that you brought that domestic violence is not necessarily, you know, a guy who comes and hits you or a woman who
Mm-hmm.
goes and hits you. It can happen in different forms. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, because most of the time people think like when they're in an abusive relationship, it's like when their partner hit them and they say, oh, it's not an abusive guy because he's never hit me. It's not about when he hits you physically. They have like many type of domestic violence. They have the verbal, where he's talking to you bad, and they have the mental, when what he tell you just traumatize you, and also they have the emotional, when you keep crying, he play with your emotion and telling you, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, or you're later, like make you feel you're less
Mm-hmm.
than what you want, like you're not valued. So it's not only when your partner, you have to control when your the way your partner talk to you. It doesn't have to be to hit you, but if it's is it a verbal, it is a mental, it is a emotional.
Yeah.
So that's really important for people to put attention on that.
It's so strong. Like it's when people start to play like mind games with you, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like you go to an argument or you go to talk to your partner and you are sure that you're right about something, but then at
Yeah.
the end of the day you end up apologizing and you're miserable and you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I'm a horrible person, how could I possibly
Mm-hmm.
think that he does this, he loves me, he's trying to protect me. And this is why it's so important. And again, it goes back to the father, like the daddy issues type of thing that we have to overcome. And we're going to talk about this too, guys. Don't worry. Like, it's not only like, oh, yeah, well, we grew up without your dad, so that's it, what it is. No,
Yeah.
it is a way to build your confidence, and especially like to learn how to navigate your relationships with your partner if you happen to be with another man. I also want to point it out that I have friends, like guy friends, who are in abusive relationships as well. So it's something that can happen on the other way around. We think like, well,
Mhm.
usually happens with women that get involved with guys, they're abusive, but it also happens with men who are in an abusive relationship with a woman as well.
Yeah, and most of the time it's difficult for the men to see that because they say, "Oh, you're a man," or they say, "Oh, men cannot cry," or "Men cannot hurt," you know. And
Yes.
they have a woman with hurting men in the relationship, and by being like the society tell you you are a man, you're trying like to keep silent. That's why when you're talking about domestic violence or abusive relationship, the first thing like people refer, "Oh, it's a woman." And when a woman get abused, it make like so much noise than a man because the man part is like so small. This
Yeah.
community don't really pay attention to the men, but they have men who get really, really abused in their relationship too.
I think one of the very important things to identifying an abusive partner is that deep down, I think they're also hurt and insecure, which doesn't justify why they're treating you that way. That's something that
Hmm.
they need their own help.
Yeah.
But also, like they might not even realize that they are being abusive. They might not even, you know, like process that they have to take care of their own behavior as well first, then, you know, to get in a relationship. So I had many like boyfriends and partners where I faced this type of relationships, like abusive relationships. And I want you to also share with me and with everybody here, like, how did you realize that you were in an abusive relationship? When did you see, like, ooh, this is a deja vu, what's going on? And how did you, exit out of that?
So let make it clear for everybody. Right now, I am in a happy, healthy marriage. Happily, I'm happily
Amen.
married.
Yes.
But let's say 5 years or 7 years ago, I was in an abusive relationship, which I was blind in love. I thought it was love because I was looking for love. Because when you are looking too much, you will find something and you're just gonna grab it because you're desperate. You're gonna think, oh, this is what I want. I was in this abusive relationship for, let's say, 3 years, and my ex-partner never hit me. It wasn't a physical abusive relationship, but it was a mental and an emotional and a verbal abusive relationship. It was someone who was insecure about himself and bring this insecurity into my life and make me feel I am the bad person. I am the one who is insecure. I am the one who is bad. So how I find out I was in this abusive relationship. At the beginning, I think it was love. But when things keep repeat over and over, when your partner keep doing something and keep telling you, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that again. And they keep repeating it. So put attention because they're not gonna change. They're not gonna change for you. So you have to put attention to those little things they're doing too. So my ex-partner, he was someone was so how do you say that in English? It was so sweet too. That's the fact of them. They are sweet, nice, gentlemen. And sometimes you confuse your mind. You say, this is not the man I want. When they do something to you, say, oh no, he's a good man. So that was my switch with my partner. He was so sweet, nice, man. But every time he kept talking bad to me. He didn't want me to go to school. I was not able to talk to friends or family. I was not able to be socialized with people. I have to stay home. That's my job. Even sometimes when I have to go to school, they say, no, what you want to study? Why you want to continue to study? So it will put a limit. But me, by being in love, I say, oh, it's okay.
He wants
I
you
have,
just for him. He loves you so much.
yeah. I will do it for him because I want him to be the father of my child. I love him. I accept. But this thing keep repeat again. And every time we got into a fight, he made me feel like so small and telling me some bad word.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is cry. And the next day, it will come with some flower and say, oh, I'm sorry. I will never do that again. Or take me out for dinner and kiss me, telling me, oh, you know what? We're going to do this next month. We're going to do that. And I feel like gaining confidence back. And I say, oh, it's a good man.
Yeah.
I left 5 times. I left
Oh
the
my
relationship
God.
5 times. Yeah. And every
Wow.
time,
So you
he
broke
keep come back
you were on and off in this relationship for five times for 4 years, you said, in the
for three
relationship?
years. 3 years.
3 years, but then you were like on and off for 5 times. You guys were breaking up and you get back together.
Yeah. Thinking is gonna change. Thinking like, oh, he's sweet. Is it? Oh, there is another thing that make you believe. Like every couple have problems. It's okay if you're in a relationship, you never having a discussion with
Yeah.
your partner. It's not a healthy relationship. No, no, it's not true. It's not true.
Yeah.
So, and until one day I decide, I say enough and enough because I was pregnant for him and I lost the baby. And after I lost the baby and I decide, I say, you know what? I deserve better. I tell myself I deserve better. If I stay in this relationship, I will suffer. So I have to, what I really want to do with my life.
Yeah.
Do I have to stay, be miserable, stay at home? not continue with my education, just be this man love, because he can do whatever he wants. He go out, he go to church every weekend, but me, I have to stay home,
Yes.
you know. So I decided and I left. It was hard when I was leaving. It was really, really hard because I was crying because there is my heart who want to stay, and there is my head to tell me to do other things.
Yeah.
So I just decided and I left. And when I left, he contacted me back. He contact back to do the same thing. I will change. I love you. I will this. And by this time, I was able like to stay strong and say, no, I'm not
Yeah.
going nowhere. It's finished. Because sometimes you have to take the firm decision to say, enough is enough.
True, true. And it's really hard thing to do, especially because there is this love involved, right? It's when we actually realize like, wow, but this guy is good guy because he has this and that. And then when we put in a scale, it's really hard to make a decision. But when you finally did that decision, were you in another relationship right away? Or how does that happen like with you?
When that is the other thing, other mistake that we make. Sometimes we left a bad relationship and feeling like so empty and looking like for comfort, and we just jump another one.
Yes.
We just
Yes.
jump. We're
Love
trying like
that.
to feel secure by someone else. We jump another one. So after I left him, I jump another one because I didn't take any time. I was looking for someone to help me to make me feel secure,
Yeah.
which is this part of this dad part, like this empty part, like that my dad left. I was just looking someone like to put it to
Yeah, and it's
help
not
me with
something that
that.
we realize, right? Like it happens that our parents, our dad, it wasn't necessarily there for us. And it's not like we are consciously going through a relationship with a guy and saying like, oh, this guy can be a supportive person. He can be like my father figure. Nobody thinks about that. And we're not
Yeah,
saying you might even go and be in a relationship right now where you don't think you are looking for this type of like filling the gap, but it happens when you look in a different perspective. Like, so you get like going to another relationship and trying to like date other people, and then you also
yeah.
were not
The
happy.
same mistake is the same thing because
Oh,
I
you
didn't
follow the
take a
same
time.
pattern.
The same partner was show again because I didn't take the time to find out why. Because sometimes you have to take some time to reflect on yourself to see it is
Yes.
me or them. I didn't take the time to see my worth or my value or anything. I just jump in something else. And when I
Yeah.
jump, it was the same mistake. It was the same. It wasn't a physical one. It was the same verbal, mental, saying the same word, control and criticize me. And I ended it. It was hard again to handle it. I
Yeah.
said, why I have to keep the same thing, the same thing, same thing. So I need to back up. So I back up and I take some time for myself. Say I
Yeah.
need to understand if it's me or them.
It's crazy because we start to thinking like, oh my god, I never gonna be like happy with anybody. Like, what's going on? Like, I always am I too picky? I think the society is telling you like, well, by now you should be married, you should have kids and this and that. And then you're
Yeah,
like, no, I'm investing in this relationship, maybe this is the one. and
yeah,
then and then it's only, and here again, our path kind of like crossing the same direction, because it was only when Mimi started dating this person that I will tell you in a bit, because I dated the same person as well. Guess who? Ourselves. So
yeah,
Mimi was dating herself for a year and a half, and I did that for 2 years. And that was
yeah.
one of the best and healthiest relationship I ever had.
Exactly. That's why you find out what you like, what you really want. Because at this moment you don't accept what they tell you. You say, okay, I have this for you. Say, no, it's not what I want. I know what I want. Like I always take this example. Like when you know what you want, it's like you go into a restaurant trying like to order a steak and you say, I want my steak this way, and and they say, oh no, I have it like well done. I say, no, I want it medium. You see, you know what you want. You know what you bring on the
Yes,
table.
yes.
The person can sit and sit.
Oh my God, you said everything. I tell this to, I have a couple friends who have this, I would say it's type of like an exercise that you can do to exercise your confidence, to build your confidence. I ask them like, so what do you want to eat? Where do you want to go? And they're like, oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't care. And I'm like, no, make a
you have to know.
decision. Even if you
Yeah.
don't know, say, you know what? Pizza is my favorite food. Let's go have pizza. Let's go have
Hmm.
Japanese, whatever it is, but please like make a decision. And 100% what you said, like when you know who you are and you start establishing also like boundaries into, not only boundaries, but like when it's very clear in your mind what you like and what you don't like, or
Yeah.
the things that you're not going to be willing to put up with, you know, like
Yeah.
that's it. That's pretty much, you know, like that's the most powerful thing that you can do, is really to start dating yourself and realize those things. And
Yeah. I started dating myself, and I realized that I was better. I deserve better. I have to do better with myself. And I start loving who I am. I start like to know the good things I have, because sometimes by being in a abusive relationship for so long, you forget who you are. You forget the good thing you have on you. You don't know. Like when people tell you something, you say, "Oh, I'm not like that." But when you date yourself, you know everything about you. When someone make you a compliment, you just have to say thank you. You know how
yes,
that's feel.
yes, exactly. It's absolutely right, because you start to realizing those things. And I think one of the most important things is how to navigate this path for all the women watching us and everybody who's going to see this live after. What it was exactly the journey, they like, how did you hurt yourself, you know, because it's a type of seduction, guys, you know, like when
Yeah.
you start dating yourself, you start to seducing yourself to see what are the things that I like, what are the things that I don't
Mhm.
like. And you start and you shared with me some of the techniques that you use. So how was like your day? Like what are the first things that you did in order to rebuild this confidence?
Um, when I left, he was hard. It was really hard because it's a long journey. It's not you're gonna live and then after that you're gonna be fine. No, you're gonna feel depressed. You're gonna feel sad because there is a part of you who still want this man, but don't let this like make you down. So it was really, really hard at the beginning. I used to smoke. I used to smoke a lot, but by smoking I thought that smoking is a way like to help me like to forgive him, but I was forget about myself. But when I started dating myself, I quit smoking. It was hard. I started exercising. I started writing journal, writing every single thing I feel at the moment, and writing all I
Power
want
of
things to
journaling,
be.
guys. I keep telling
Yeah,
this to everybody. Yes, yes.
and writing all I feel and all I want it to be. This is all I feel in this moment. So what I'm gonna do to change that? Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. This is all I wanted. I don't want to stay in this
Right.
um forever. And one other thing I did is that my ex, like when I have like long hair, I start cutting my hair, like getting my freedom, do whatever I want.
Oh
Because for
my
him,
God.
yeah, because with him, I have to wait until he want me to go out. I was not able to go out, but I start going out. I don't
Yes.
need someone to invite me to go out. I just go out. I just go out, enjoy myself. If I decide to go, it's a Friday night, I want to dance, I go to dance. So do what you feel make you feel good, what
It's
make you feel happy.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like you talk about like cutting your hair. That's one of the things that happened to me as well. A little bit after, uh, during this process, right, of like the getting out of the relationship. I I have to say that like my past relationship was the most traumatic one. It's not necessarily
Mhm.
abusive in a way. I think um there was some like mind games, especially because this guy, he had a bachelor in like psychology, so he was really like, whoa,
Yeah.
like
Reading
into
your
like
mind, make you
knowing about the mind and all that.
yeah.
But like one of the things that it's really interesting that I got to learn after, um how liberating it is for us women to cut our hair. There is
Mm-hmm.
something about this. And I remember that this same guy, he used to say that like, oh, this is like, or I don't know if it was him or it was a friend of mine who told me like, oh, a woman with short hair, she has daddy issues. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, like if you see a woman with short hair, it means that she has daddy issues. So if you think about, and here at Become Odara, we've been talking about the feminine energy and
Mm-hmm.
how, you know, like we access this. Uh, there is a lot of myth and how can I say, like in our ancestrality, like as women, there's a lot of power in our hair. Like women used to have like really long hair because
Yeah.
hair was associated with power as well, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
with strength, with like somebody who was like really like the feminine style of things. Hi Rumi. My cousin now is just joined. Oh my god, I have this. Let me go back. Showing my husband's art is gonna be like, oh baby, those are not ready yet. But anyway, um, this thing about cutting your hair was so liberating, and I think man does the same thing. Like, oh, my friend lady is saying, I think Freud says about the women's hair. Yeah, I don't know like what Freud says, but thank you for bringing that up, lady, because that's something like really interesting because guys also do the same thing but in the opposite. You see that a guy
Mm-hmm.
let their hair grow and they got some attention for it, right? Like it's like, oh, like some people say like, oh, you're looking like a woman with this long hair, but
Yeah.
it's some type of like a rebellious act when a guy let the hair grows long. And same thing for women when we cut our hair, and it was the most liberating thing to me. You said that you also use self-talk. Talk to me about a little bit and to share with everybody what was this self-talk type of routine.
Yeah, the self-talk, like most of the time, not everybody like to do it, or may some people don't know it, or some people also do it, but they don't know the power of it.
Mm,
Because I didn't know the power of it until I start to learn about it. The self-talk is be able like to stand up in the mirror and talk to yourself, telling yourself those positive comment, things you want people you think people have to tell you, just telling it to yourself. One of my mantra was I deserve better. I stand up every morning and I look at myself because it was hard. At the beginning, it was hard, like to just stand up, look at
oh, I know.
myself because I was feeling like I'm ugly, or now I'm depressed, or I will never be happy, or I will never find a man, I will never do this. But I started like just stand up in front of the mirror, don't say nothing because at the beginning it may feel difficult.
Yeah.
So don't say nothing, you don't feel to say something. I start standing in front of the mirror, don't say nothing. And after that, how about you say, you deserve better? And I start smiling. If you can see, I love to smile a lot.
Yeah.
So it's something also I start recognize after I left my relationship. I start smiling more
Yeah.
because I feel good when I smile and I tell myself, you deserve better. You're beautiful. You can do this. You can have everything you want. You
Oh my
deserve
God.
more than me.
I got emotional about this because when you leave a relationship, a lot of times it's your confidence that is, you know, like you think that you're leaving not only your confidence but you're also leaving your you're not only leaving the relationship but your confidence behind.
Mhm.
Because to me it was like I chose this person to be with me, and I trusted in my gut feeling that this will be the one. This will be
Yeah.
the father of my children and all this. And then it's not. And then you start self-doubting. You start doubting yourself, if
Yeah.
this person is actually a good person for you, because clearly it wasn't. So you be like, oh, wait a minute, you can trust your guts, Anna.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing like horrible mistakes, especially because you said like you follow the same pattern. So you get to be with partners who seems to be the same people. It's like, oh, I have
Mm-hmm.
a bad, like in Portuguese we say that we have like a bad finger. I don't know if that's an expression in English too. Like you, when you choose a man, say like, oh, tem um dedo podre. It's like
Potre.
dedo
Oh,
podre.
aprendí.
It's like you have a bad finger for men. You like a bad taste or something, and you start to realize that like, hey, if I wasn't able, if I thought that this would be the one, and I was so wrong, I clearly don't know what's best for me. So looking in the mirror was something very difficult to me. My friend Claudio, he was here earlier, and he saw this entire process where like I developed like eating diseases. Like I was like eating, like if for you was cigarettes, for me it
Smoking.
was food. For
Yeah.
me it was food, you know, like especially because I used to be in the ketogenic diet and I saw carbohydrates as like the enemy. And every time I will eat a carbohydrate, it kind of like I almost will see his voice telling me that like, oh, you're gonna eat bread, you're gonna eat sugar, you know, like, and this entire like fear. I would look in the mirror and I would see myself ugly. I would see myself like
Mm-hmm.
fat. I would see myself like in a very like uncomfortable position, you know, like, and it
Yeah.
was only like this words of affirmations is it's like perfect, and so many entrepreneurs talks about that.
It's simple. It's simple when you do it over and over, but at the beginning it's really hard to do. And sometimes people say, "I'm not gonna do that. I'm not crazy. Or I'm gonna sit in front of me or talking to myself." But when you start developing it, you will see the power.
Yes.
Until today, that's why I do every day. I do it in the morning, in the afternoon, at night. And sometimes my husband can be in the other room and I be in the bathroom and I'm just talking to myself, laughing. He said, "Who are you talking to, crazy girl?" I said, I'm talking to myself. And it make me happy. Every time
Yes.
I want to have a good day, I
Yes.
just wake up and I look at myself and say, "Oh, you got this, girl. You got
I
this." And it's really powerful.
Yeah, it is. I use that not exactly the same mantra, but I also use a mantra every day in the morning when I'm doing my yoga stretchings and all. I say, I'm calm. I have everything I need right here, right now, and the
Yep.
future is beautiful. So I say this every single morning, and sometimes more than once, you know, like to remind myself that I am calm. So no matter what happened, I'm calm. And two, like I have everything I need. We have to be grateful. Like we have food, we have a home, and there are so many things going on right now in the world. Some people don't have the same opportunities. So this is like the main thing, you know, like to just like be happy with that as well. Now we talk about another technique when rebuilding this confidence, and I kind of like spoiled a little bit here because I talk about Claudio, my friend. We need someone to be
Yeah.
the reality check person, right?
Yeah, you need a how do you call that? Accountable partner? Someone will
Accountability,
have like
yes.
to give you the push in your face and say, "Wake up, girl." Because it will be hard because sometimes you will be thinking about this past relationship. You wanna go back. You say, "Oh, you know what? I miss him.
Yeah, we
Oh,
start
let
to
me try to
fantasize.
text him. Yeah, let me try to text him. Maybe it wasn't that bad, but you need a friend to have to remind you, girl, don't do that. You
Yeah,
need because even your mind, your right instinct gonna say no. You might doubt it. You say, I'm gonna do it anyway. But you need a friend who have to tell you the truth to tell you don't do it. But you
yeah,
have to listen to it because sometimes you say, "Oh, you don't understand. He was a good man, and I love him, and he said he's gonna change." Girl, don't go back. Don't go back.
yeah.
So listen to your
One of
friend. Make sure you have someone you can trust.
Absolutely. one of the easiest things, like my dad, even though he wasn't always around, but one of the few things that he taught me, he used to say, it's really easy to create a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, he meant that, like, every time, like, I remember that I was in a completely different relationship. And I remember talking about my boyfriend at the time with my dad. And he was like, wow, but this guy seems so awful. I can understand why you're dating him. So he knew that the guy had something good on him. But
Yeah.
I was like representing this guy as a monster to him. And he was like, hey, be careful with your words, because it's really easy to create a monster. Like, you can say whatever you want about someone, like, and that really will impact someone. So especially when breaking up the relationship, having this fantasy, so, wow, that
Yeah.
guy, wow, but he used to do that to me, but he was so this and that.
Yeah.
And then you start to fantasize. It's harder. It's so crazy, because after you break up, it's so hard to remember the bad stuff.
Yeah, you just remember the good stuff.
And
You say, "Oh, you were
that's
so
why I'm using
good."
this mug. I don't know if you guys have watched this movie, 500 Days of Summer. And
No, I'm gonna
here it
watch
says,
it.
this is not a love story. Because a lot of times, and this is one of the things that it's in the movie, like, the guy starts to remember of the relationship, and his sister comes to him and it's like, hey, next time you look back, make sure that you look deeper, because I think you're only remember the good stuff. You're forgetting the bad stuff. So he starts to reevaluate, and we need those reality checks, right? This
Yeah,
person to be your accountability person. And to
yeah.
me, I was lucky to have, like, many friends to do that to me. And you can always use your journal. Go back to your journal and read about the things that you used to write about that relationship. That helps.
Exactly. But I have someone who tell me, I don't like to write because when I'm writing about something who hurt me, I feel bad when reading it again. Because for some people, they don't want to read something like who put them in pain. But I want to let you know that whatever you feel in pain right now, it's temporary. That's why you have to write it down, because
Yeah.
next day you're gonna sit down and read it. You're gonna say, man, I was crazy. You're gonna laugh about it. And that's all you can see the change. Because
Yes.
if you don't write it down, you will not see the change. But if you write it down, you go back and read it about, you say, okay, I was feeling this, and that day. Oh, look at me now. So it's
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
change. So it's always good, like, to write it down. Write it down if it is hurt, just write it down. And also,
Absolutely.
another things we talk. I don't know if you're going there or I'm going there.
You go for it, girl.
Oh yeah, another thing we were talking is just like when you get out of this relationship, how to move on.
Yes.
How to
That's the
move on
hardest
after this
part.
relationship. Yeah, you have to move on. Not everybody is like your ex. I'm gonna repeat it again. Not everybody is like your ex. You have
Yeah.
to move on.
Yeah.
So you have to let it go. Let it go. And I have like two tools I can say the way you can let it go. Find for help. Go to a therapist because it's gonna really deep. It's gonna traumatize you. It's really good like to find a therapist. Go to counselor. Find a group
Yes.
like you can talk. And also the another thing is like self-care. Take some time for yourself. Take some time to heal yourself.
Yes.
Because if you don't heal yourself, you're gonna bring your baggage and the next one. It's not gonna be the fault of the next one. He might be you if you don't heal yourself.
Yeah.
Take time for you to heal yourself, and you can regain your confidence. And when you find a good one, because there is a good one, don't take everyone is the same. There is a good one. I find one. Anna got
Me
one.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a good one. But first, you have to heal yourself.
Yes.
Make sure
Absolutely.
you're ready. Heal yourself you can regain your confidence. Take your time for yourself. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the journey, be single. But don't try to rush it because, oh, okay, my friend said, okay, my ex hurt me so bad. I don't think I can be able to trust men anymore. All men are the same. No,
Yeah.
find some help.
And
Find some professional help.
absolutely. I think this is like a very powerful thing also because I Sebastian, my husband, he's sending some hearts right now, and I was about to talk about him because in the beginning of our relationship, it was hard for me to trust someone again. So I told him like I have trust issues, like I don't know, like in one like we met and maybe like with 1 month. I'm a Gemini, so that might also count here. So I brought everything from my house to his apartment. And it was almost like, wow, we already moved in together. And then in the next day, I got everything out and I left his house. And he was like, what the heck is going on? Like, because he knew we didn't fight or anything, but it was just me kind of like scared. I was like, wow, I think I'm going too deep in this relationship. I might not even be ready yet, especially because I was coming from this mentality where it was so nice to date myself. I was so in love with myself. In one of my blog posts, I say that I was pregnant of myself. It was like I was building myself to me. I
Oh,
was creating
that's
myself.
great. I like that. Pregnant with yourself, like carry yourself. Take
Yes, I was
time.
really,
I
I
like
was
that.
really like feeding myself with good food, moving my body. I started like I joined the Long Beach Running Club here, so I would run. I would go out with my friends. I would have the self-care routines, like you're saying, and all of this was something really nice. It made me feel good. But I was afraid to join a relationship and go back to all those other things that I used to face in my old relationships, like you need to trust that like your next partner, it would definitely be a better partner because if you do your work, if you
Mm-hmm.
really do your homework, your self work, if you work within yourself, you'll
Yeah.
become someone so amazing that like the good people out there, they will notice you.
They
And
can
like that's how
exactly.
I'm so grateful that my husband noticed me. And
Yeah.
we
Because you take time to do the work on yourself. And you can just like reflect. When you love yourself, you reflect love and respect around you. Because this is who I am. It's deep. It's a light. You cannot put the light down on the table. It's gonna bright anyway. So it's
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, and I think like one of the things I've learned from one of the books, I think was this one, Mating in Captivity by Esther Perel. She talks about eroticism and how the novelty is important in a relationship, especially when you are coming from an abusive relationship where all your time is limited by the other person and you do the same things that they were doing. You kind of don't know who you are. But one of the
Hmm.
most exciting things when you are in a mature relationship is that you know so much about who you are and that person knows so much about who they are,
Yeah.
that's the beauty of the relationship because you get to be yourself, do your things, and he got to do his things, or she got to do her things, and it's just like beautiful to see. Like, oh, like my husband has a show coming up, and he is involved with that, so he doesn't have a lot of time for me right now. So I would value even more the time that I have with him, and the same thing with
Yeah.
and the other way around, like, oh my god, like my wife is doing all this things and like she's working on her business, and this is exciting as well because we
Yeah.
want to be in love with someone who brings value to our lives, right? Someone who is also
And we call that
secure.
Yeah, and also we call that like you both become independent. People
Yes.
think like when you're independent, just like when you don't have a relationship. No, you can be married and you both partner are independent. You respect each other time. You both time can do things separately. It doesn't have to be always with your
Yes.
husband or your wife. Do your things separately. Be independent. You don't
And
need them.
Now, like this, so moving to the end of the life, I want to
Yeah,
really, I want
that
to
was
really like,
good.
I know
I feel like I
there's so
want to
much
go. I
that I
want to
still like
keep
to
going,
talk.
going.
I think we can just pinpoint like how can you see the red flags and you can realize if you are in a abusive relationship. You have like really good points.
Okay, some of the points I have is the red flag. Your partner may control you. Things your partner gonna control. I don't say like when you're in a good relationship, your partner not gonna control you, but it's not the same thing. Your partner might control you, but you have this you can talk about it. You guys talk about it, we decide if it's good or not. But when it's an abusive relationship, you don't have the right to talk about it. This is what I say, this is what gonna do,
Right.
you know? But one of the things like they control the time you spend with your friend, the time you spend with them, how you spend your money. So why you spend too much money? Oh, the way you dress. Oh, I don't like how you dress. Why you dress like that? The way you do your hair, the way they talk to you when they come, they control all that. You don't have the right to choose, the right to say yes or no. They say, let's go do something. You don't have the right to say, oh, you know what? I don't think I can. How come can do that right now? Let's go do something. And they yell at you, they scream at you, all this. And whenever they finish to do something, they say, I'm sorry, why back? They make themselves feel so later at the moment to tell you I'm sorry. All this are red flag. So you
Right.
have to consider that when you cannot have a good communication with your partner.
Those are really good points. So like whenever a man tries to or a woman, it can be the other way around too. Like if someone is trying to control your time, right? Like the time that you spend with your family, with your friends, that's a huge red flag. If they try to control what you eat, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're gonna eat this chocolate, you're gonna be fat, you're gonna be this and
Yeah.
that, like, or you're eating too much fry or whatever it is. Nobody has a right to control
What to
what
do.
you eat or your time
Yeah.
or what you dress or the way you dress. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like you can't really control that. And also, I would even add to your list what you post on social media. You know, like I remember, like I had ex partners, like ex boyfriends that would be like, oh, you can say kisses to someone on social media. Like if I was sending a message and I would send kisses, they'll be like, oh, who is this that you're sending kisses to?
Yeah.
And I'm like, heck, like who cares? You know, like it's my friends or whatever. If you're not secure about who I am, like with you, like maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship to begin with. Um, I think, yeah.
So I think we get everything. Oh, I have a recommendation for people who's watching us. I have a movie. Did you watch the movie, Anna? Oh, you watched
No,
the trailer.
yes, I watched the trailer, and that would be like perfect, so we can like end the live talking about the movie. My
Yeah. So the movie called it's a Spanish movie. It called Te doy mis ojos, but
Mhm.
in English I think it's like Take My Eyes.
Take
It's
my eyes.
really a good movie about abusive relationship, and I'm not gonna say too much about it, but check it out. You
Check
will
it out, you
thank
guys.
me later. Check it out. Te
Yes.
doy mis ojos.
But I want to
Okay.
thank you so much for all the insights, for sharing your story. And if you guys have questions or want to access this journey with Mimi, she is also like an incredible person who can guide you through this. She is a professional as well. So please reach out to her. Everything Mimi, right? Is that it?
Everything Mimi.
Okay, perfect. So please send her your love, your questions, and we are here to help and to become Odara together. Kisses. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody who watched. Bye.
Bye.
Odara,